Hey, what's up? My name is Jonathan Fink. This is my audiobook series. Today I'm reading my first fictional novel, The Republic Baseball League, Volume 1, Chapter 17, The Thesis. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy this, please leave a like. If you really enjoy it, please subscribe. Thank you so much. Grateful for all of you. Chapter 17, The Thesis. Professor Dempsey was sitting in his university office with an early morning cup of coffee on the right-hand corner of his desk. He reflected back several months ago when the idea for a baseball-related class project worthy of the age of Aquarius and his PhD thesis first flashed into his mind in the back room of the barbershop. Dempsey knew that in order for his analytical thesis to carry sufficient weight for a PhD dissertation, he needed to use the scientific method to accomplish his objective. He was aware that this empirical method of questioning and confirming scientific knowledge, which has been practiced for decades, typically involved careful observation, rigorous questioning, skepticism of what is observed, formulating hypotheses, experimenting and testing the hypotheses, analyzing data, and reporting a conclusion. The process was designed to help scientists and researchers discover cause and effect relationships by carefully gathering and examining data and evidence to ascertain if all of the available information could be combined into logical conclusions. These concepts began to infiltrate Dempsey's mind, and he spent the next few hours typing his thoughts into a Word document on his laptop computer. Experiment, the Republic Baseball League. Ask questions. Is Major League Baseball's antitrust exemption good for the game of baseball? Is the exemption in the best interest of its consumers, its baseball fans? Is the exemption in the best interest of the overall United States economy? Is the exemption in the best interest of American society? Does the exemption stifle competition and infringe upon other market participants, including independent baseball leagues, affiliated minor league baseball teams, minor league baseball players, and even its consumers? What would be the impact to the United States economy if all the market participants, if Congress removed baseball's antitrust exemption? What would be the impact to the United States economy and all of the market participants if Congress removed baseball's antitrust protection? For my hypothesis, the United States economy and American society would benefit if Congress or other courts, through the judicial process, removed Major League Baseball's antitrust exemption. New professional baseball leagues, such as the Republic Baseball League, would not threaten the profitability of Major League Baseball or its team owners. An experiment will combine the extensive volume of data currently available with additional data to be produced to prove this point. The experiment will demonstrate that by allowing the baseball economy to operate freely after MLB's antitrust exemption is removed, both baseball and the overall economy of the United States will grow exponentially, benefiting all of the market participants. Implement the experiment. Create a new professional baseball league modeled after the Republic Baseball League. Use simulation software, such as out-of-the-park baseball, to replicate real professional baseball. The new league will be formed selecting its players and coaches from the 120 minor league teams in Major League Baseball's affiliate system. To ensure accuracy and reliability of the data and evidence produced, the experiment will simulate 5 full baseball league seasons. Analyze data. From a macroeconomic perspective, the analysis will study and evaluate multiple business trends generated by the league, such as season ticket sales, game attendance, media sales, merchandise sales, gate revenue, team payroll, total revenue, and total expenses. From a microeconomic perspective, analysis will study and examine whether former minor league teams and the baseball players on their rosters are better off financially after joining the Republic Baseball League. The analysis will also study and evaluate whether the new league's existence will have an adverse impact on Major League Baseball. Formulate a conclusion. The experiment will test its thesis and conclude that the rise of the Republic Baseball League is beneficial to a much broader group of baseball players and is not a competitive threat to Major League Baseball's hegemony. The success of the Republic Baseball League will demonstrate that when the professional baseball market is allowed to operate freely, the financial results are beneficial to all participants. As a result, the experiment will conclude that United States Congress should indeed act decisively to pass legislation to revoke MLB's antitrust exemption. Dempsey was so absorbed in his thinking that he didn't realize that he'd been working at his computer for more than 4 hours. With his first summary draft completed, he stood up, stretched, and decided to take a break and get something to eat. When he arrived at the university cafe, he smiled seeing many of his students sitting at tables talking about the success of the Republic Baseball League. He just knew he was on the right track with his thesis. When he returned to his office after lunch, he reread the draft and made several edits to the document. With another economic class to teach that afternoon, he saved the draft and then turned off his computer. The professor was back at his desk early the next morning. He opened the Word document and read the summary again. He was pleased with it, so much so that he printed it out, put it in a manila folder, and walked briskly down the hallway to Dean McGregor's office. Dempsey knocked on the dean's door, was invited in, and took the seat offered to him in front of the dean's desk. Dempsey, with an anxious look on his face, handed the dean the summary describing the scientific method he planned to use in his PhD thesis. With a warm cup of Quick Trip coffee in his hand, Dean McGregor took his time and slowly read Dempsey's summary with discernment. Then he lifted his eyes, looked straight at Dempsey and said, "Congratulations, Kevin. You've got yourself the beginnings of what I hope will be an excellent, insightful PhD thesis." With a rarely seen smile on his face, he continued, "You are certainly heading in the right direction. Now get to work and finish it." That's exactly what Dempsey planned to do. End of chapter 17. Up next, chapter 18, the dissertation. My name is Jonathan Fink. This is my audiobook series. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys take care, and as always, God bless.
This month, we have some great sports card stories from across the U.S. and talk to an author from nearby Leawood, Kansas, who has written a book about returning to collecting after 3 decades away.
My day job is I'm a financial advisor, so I've been investing for over 20 years. In a way to express my love for the hobby, I decided, what if I write an investment book, Sports Card Collectors Club, and treat the stock market the same way I would treat the card market. And so I thought, well, how would a day trader invest in cards? How would a venture capitalist buy and sell cards? How would a hedge fund do it? As I would go through my trials and tribulations, I realized that for as much fun as I was having investing, there was something missing. And one day I was watching the Royals game on television, and it was a rain delay. And the Card Life television show came on. I was watching that episode, I was watching Matt Strom open cards and rip packs, and I started getting the warm, fuzzy feeling. I said, this is what I want to be doing. I want to get back to really collecting and ripping cards and building sets. And that's where the story of my book has a change. I go from investing back to collecting.
I'll also open a variety of boxes from different sports. So he hit the home run off me in like the 7th inning. And then in the 8th inning, JT hit a double, so he's standing on second. And Mason Wynn asked him, he's like, "Hey JT," he's like, "I heard Strom collects cards of guys that take him deep." He's like, "Does that mean he's gonna send me over a couple cards to sign tomorrow?" And after the game, we had won. I mean, winning is the only thing that's important to me. So it's like I was good after the game, whatever, and JT comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Strami," he was really genuine. Like he wasn't taking shots, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, when I got to second, Mason asked if you're gonna send a card over for him."
I'm just looking around my basement here, just walls covered with concert posters and toys, and just like, I have no intention of selling these things. I collect because I want to show off the things I love and do it in fun ways. And it just never crossed my mind that, hey, I'm going to go buy this thing just so I can resell it. Like that to me isn't a pure collector mentality. And obviously things change and times change. And, in order for things to survive right now, you have to have that sort of chase for something valuable.
Yeah, it needs to be a circus. You know what? The truth is, I actually watched the live stream on eBay Live with Ken Golden and Logan Paul. They ripped a box of 86 Flair and a box of Series 1 Pokemon. And you know what? It was very entertaining. They're both polarizing characters. I thought it was entertaining. But you know what? After every pull, they immediately are showing the value. And and it begs the question, are we creating, not we, is the industry creating a gambling culture which has a real downside?
It already has. Right. Not created. It's here.
Yeah, and
that's
a concern. I guess for me, I hope to be an influence where we focus more on collecting, because you know what, when markets crash, collectors don't get hurt at all. Because the Sandy Koufax you bought that because it makes you feel good. It brings back good memories.
Said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan Fink on the line tonight.
You have created community, so let's talk about that. I went to Rip Night at your shop. Let's rip it on the pack. And I went to your Rip Night 2 years ago, and it was one of the best. I wrote about it in volume 1. It was one of the best times I've ever had. You guys had this giant scoreboard where you had the chase cards, and everyone can buy whatever product you wanted, like buy 3, get 1 free, whatever product, whatever it was. You then, if you pull a Bronny James, you then get another blaster. Or I pulled a Reed Shepherd auto, and then I got a free T-shirt. And I sat around the table with strangers and had the best time ever. So let's talk about how important community is, and what you guys do is provide an anchor for community in our town. How important that is.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, one of our taglines, we say we'll make an offer on anything, but like you said, we got to pay what it's worth. And so if it's junk wax, it's going to be junk wax prices, which unfortunately, a lot of people end up thinking that their 87 Topps Barry Bonds is going to be a couple $100.
It's worth nothing, people.
Brand and notoriety. And so when you're pitching these stories to these athletes, like I've reached out to a couple of different athletes about writing a potential article about their collections and having them kind of share their story. And it's like, yes, like I write for Collectibles on SI, which is under the Sports Illustrated umbrella. It does carry weight. Like it does, people recognize that brand. It is important. And so I'm super grateful that I've been given the opportunity to write for that staff.
The top segment that was done by you on you was so well produced, right? Did all that come from the conversation you had with Michael Rubin? Is that how that put you on the map to such an extent that all those opportunities happened? How did that happen? Did you get a call one day?
Said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan Fink on the line tonight with a pack in hand and a story that bites.
I didn't even collect when I was 3 years old, like when this card came out, but he just pulled a good one. Roman Anthony, from Dempsey. I love Wichita State. Yeah. I would have been thrilled if he went to Tulane, but his parents have roots in Nebraska. So for him, it was coming home. And so Nebraska got a good one. And so I'm not surprised that program's on the rise, because they got a great stadium. They have great resources. They got a great fan base with people like you. And their recruiting is fantastic. They're finding the talented kids. So
yeah, in fact,
the Big Ten.
So yeah, Will Bolt, the head coach, he actually played at Nebraska when I was traveling with the Nebraska team in the late 90s. He was down at Texas A&M when I worked at Texas A&M. Rob Childress is the pitching coach, and I was on the hiring committee that hired him away from Nebraska to come down at Texas A&M, and they're thrilled that he's back here in Nebraska. He's a genius. The number of players in pro ball right now that went through Rob Childress, so he'll be under good guidance when he gets up here to Nebraska. They're good people.
One kid found a mantle in the rain. One old friend came back with the same old chain.
Talk to me about the reaction of the players, the other players, when they see this bat putter. Are they flipping out? They freak out when they see it?
and they see it and they're like, they just stop. Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
The reason why I asked that question is because I had that experience literally yesterday. So when I first got the bat putter, I think I bought it 6 months ago, and it's customized for the Republic Baseball League, which is so cool. And now that I realize, now that I love it so much, and I got to use it yesterday, I'm like, I got to start buying them for different people. Like, anyone's a guest on my show, they're gonna get a bat putter, okay? Yeah. But the point is, I had never used it because I thought it was too sacred to me. I keep it in my office like a sacred shrine. It means so much to me. But then I was like, after watching all these videos and stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? There's this indoor amazing place in Kansas City called Tap-Ins. Okay, they have an outdoor putt, but also indoor. And depending on the weather, the whole thing, it's an amazing atrium, and it's become a successful business. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That's a perfect. It was a hot day. I'm like, it's a perfect thing to do. So my buddy Paul Greenwood, who I featured in my first book, we went and played around. And when I showed up with this bat putter, people were freaking out. They were literally losing their minds, and that's when I realized. So then, and then, by the way, it was a Sunday, middle of the day, hot as heck. I want to see how it gets made, but you probably do actually.
I want to see if there's quality control testers there.
But you know, attention! If anyone at the Tops is watching, Grip and Rip we want to get invited to a tour at a factory. The two of us.
I told them I would work for free.
Right.
I would work absolutely free. I want to see how their stuff's made.
Yeah, I'm curious. But like collation is like I'm sure there's a bunch of engineers that sit around and design
Got some breaking news for you.
Yeah?
Slab just texted me.
No way. What'd he say?
Looks like this is the first year to hear it. Who is that? Right. Let me see here.
Breaking news. Grip and Rip, breaking news.
Oh, U.S. agent. Okay, so I just got told that the finest mega boxes are going to be really, really, really good.
Oh, interesting.
1.6 numbered cards a box. So you're guaranteed one numbered card with a 60% chance to pull a second numbered card.
Wow,
and
interesting.
Autos are 1 in 3.
Whoa. So do you think that Topps decided to go big because this is their first year with Topps Finest in retail?
I'm going to say yes. Yes.
Right? Because
I do think so.
You usually get so upset with the delayed numbers, they're delaying them. Or maybe, by the way, I don't know if it's a conspiracy that the odds are coming out later. I just feel that maybe they're just not as efficient as they used to be.
You might have watched this game back
I'm sure I did.
Currently,
Derek Coleman. Yeah, he was on my fans team for sure.
Pretty crazy to think, in the future you would be able to collect that moment that you watched.
Right. And by the way, check that out. It's worth $198 versus the ones that are worth 35 cents because it makes sense. Because the same way that you value your 1964 Willie Mays card, you're going to value your Drazen Petrovic, and you're not going to want to give it up unless it's for a very, very good price because you love that memory. And what's wild is the same way that you get the warm, fuzzy feeling with dopamine hit, whatever, when you look at a card on your shelf, it's the same thing. But when you're online at the bank, you don't have your cards with you, Paulie, but you do have your phone, and you can pull up your Drazen Petrovic and pay respect to him and watch a couple of his awesome plays that give you the warm fuzzies because you can. It's wild. And